Or
What up, guys? This is Zach and Harley from Flash Out Media. We're here to give you a quick preview of what's to come this weekend with all things combat sports related. We got, UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Hill. We got the highly anticipated boxing match against Haney against Lomachenko for undisputed world title at 135. And then we also have Katie Taylor, moving up to 140 to grab a belt there. So and we also do have BKFC fights, so from Friday to Saturday, action packed with MMA and boxing. Before we get into it, Harley, got anything for the viewers?
yeah, man, like we always say, thanks again for watching. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on the Facebook and Instagram at Flash Heart Media. And like Zach said, hey, we got another full weekend of combat sports. We got bare knuckle boxing, MMA. So man, we also got some news this this morning that broke as well. So we got a full pod and a full weekend to get to. Man, let's jump right into it.
Yes, sir. So before we get into the events, Francis Ngannou, he was a free agent for a long time, and he recently announced that he is now with the PFL. Some details with his contract, he's not going to be going into the tournaments. He's going to be only super fights only. And he's going to make his PFL debut in 2024. There's talks about in his contract that he is allowed to box, and that's going to happen sometime this year. And also, he gets to be in charge of PFL Africa. So, a lot of things that I think he wouldn't have been able to do in the UFC, he got done with the PFL. So good for him. I'm sure he secured the bag. And I mean, he's got more than just fighting now. Now, he's got PFL Africa and he gets to box. So what's your thoughts on Francis signing with PFL?
Yeah, just from a financial standpoint, I think it's a huge opportunity for Francis. Uh, like you said, TFL Africa, uh, he's able to box, so I'm sure they're gonna make some big boxing fights, or at least try to. Maybe some crossover fights someday that they've already talked about. That'd be big. But I want to ask you this from an MMA perspective, strictly MMA. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about anything. Just MMA fights that he could be in. You know, they mentioned it in the article that they put out about his contract that he's only gonna fight in super fights. No tournaments, nothing like that. Just looking at the PFL roster, okay, do you think that again, strictly from an MMA standpoint, do you think that there are big fights to be made for Francis, or do you think he's just gonna run through everybody in the PFL?
So I think the key thing here was that he's making his debut in 2024. So I think that tells you right there that anybody on the roster right now is probably not gonna fight Ngannou. They're probably gonna be looking to sign guys that are maybe their contracts done in the UFC or maybe coming from Bellator or something. There's been hints of Bellator and PFL merging, and Bellator does have a lot better heavyweight roster you know than PFL. You got Ryan Bader, guys like that. So I think we it isn't going to be anybody on the PFL roster. Even the champs, like, they don't have big names right now. Their two biggest names are Maurice Green and Jorgen De Castro because they were in the UFC, and those weren't big names in the UFC. So I don't think there's any way that any guys on the PFL roster currently fights Ngannou. It just wouldn't make sense financially.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to spend up the bulk of our time talking about this, but the more I dive, the more I look into that situation with Francis in the PFL. Even if Bellator and the PFL do merge with each other, I still don't know if there's really any threats to Francis. I still don't know. Like Ryan Bader, he can fight, really good fighter. Excuse me, but um, I still don't know if there's anybody that can really touch Francis now. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, what they do, and I hope they can bring some guys in that can test them. But I agree. Right now, as far as the PFL heavyweight roster is currently constructed, I don't think there's anybody that can mess with them. Hopefully, there's somebody that they can at least bring in to challenge them, to promote a good fight, and we'll see. But it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I can see right now is somebody on the PFL roster. They currently have the heavyweight tournament going on. And if somebody was to make like a crazy run, get knockout after knockout and get some buzz, maybe you can have Francis fight the champion. But you know, maybe he fights the champion of PFL, they merge, and then he fights the champion in Bellator to where, they could say that, Francis was the UFC champ. He beat the PFL champ, beat the Bellator champ. He's the guy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It'll be fun to watch though and see how everything plays out.
Yeah. One more thing I like to say. I mean, I doubt this will happen, ever happen, but I would like to see like the PFL, UFC, and Bellator not necessarily merge, but they're able to make those super fights with their champions together. I don't think the UFC is gonna jump on board with that at all. And if they do, I don't think it'll be anytime soon. But that would be cool to see. That's another story for another day. But I would love to see it, but I doubt that'll happen. I don't know if you think
So
that'll happen either.
my thing with that is like I said, is very highly unlikely it would happen. But in football and in soccer, they have all leagues come together and they see who's the best every certain amount of years. Let's say every 3 or 4 years, we had a 4 to 8 man tournament, last maybe 8 months to a year. So where we had UFC, we had Bellator, PFL, ONE FC, and we get to see who's the best in each league, every 4 years. I feel like that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, that'd be like the MMA Olympics, bro.
Right.
Hey, that would be so badass, man.
You know what I mean?
I
So
mean,
hopefully
that's
somebody's
wishful
watching
thinking.
and.
Yeah, Uncle D, man, hit us up. Sean Shelby McMahon, y'all, hey, y'all hit us up, man. We
Right,
can jump
right.
in the fight.
So we're gonna start off with the UFC card, Dern versus Hill. We're gonna briefly run through them and give them our. We're gonna give our predictions without even like really really diving into it. Without film study, all that. So first we have Takashi Sato. He's coming off a vicious knockout loss to Brian Battle, and we have Thimba Garimbo, who's coming off a submission loss to AJ Fletcher. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and go first on this one. I think Thimba Garimbo gets the win here by
Hmm.
just taking down Sato and just kind of like, doing enough to get a decision victory. But if Sato lets his hands go like he usually does, I think he could have Thimba in trouble. But I'm gonna go with Thimba by decision on this one.
Yeah, just looking at it, like I said, all we do is looking at it really on paper right now. I would probably have to lean towards Thimble as well. And another big reason, I think he's just a little bit better of an athlete too. I think he's more athletic. I think, and I agree, I think Thimble would have the wrestling advantage. And I think Soto would have the advantage on the feet. But I just think that, Simba, I don't want to say he's got a few more tools, but I think he is somewhat of a better athlete. Do you follow what I'm saying? Like, does that make sense to you?
He's
And
definitely got
I
reach.
just,
He's got length. He's got, he's showing takedown
yeah,
ability outside the UFC. So, and Sato has been losing to before he got knocked out. That was the path to victory is take him down or submit him.
yeah. And like you said, Thelma also has a big reach advantage. I have to lean towards him right now by decision.
All right. Next up, we have Victoria Leonardo taking on Natalia Silva. Um,
Oh,
Leonardo is a scrapper. Her contender series fight, she was a big underdog and came through and got the dub. She's only lost to like really, really good girls, and Natalia Silva made her UFC debut probably like 4 or 5 months ago and looked phenomenal. This is a tricky fight because Victoria, even as an underdog, can come through and get the dub. And then you got Natalia Silva, who's looked like, she looked very, very good. Leonardo being a hometown
mhm.
girl, we're staying away from it. We're rooting for her. And that's what I gotta say about the fight. You got anything else to add?
No, I agree. Natalia Silver's on a roll right now. Victoria, like Jack said, we're really familiar with her. She's not only a hometown girl, she commentates local fights around here as well. That we bring our guys too, so we run into her pretty often. Uh, yeah, man. I mean, Victoria's scrappy girl, always gonna come to fight. Gonna be not gonna be an easy fight, gonna be a tough one, but we wish her well, and we'll be rooting for her for sure.
No doubt. Next up, we have Chase Hooper taking on Nick Fior. Um, a lot of people familiar with Chase Hooper, Ben Askren's son, spitting image. You know what I'm saying? Gets the
Yeah,
subs pretty quick, and if he can't get it, sometimes it's a very hard, difficult fight for him to get it to the ground. Fior, he had his UFC debut on very short notice against Mateus Rebecki, who was, a highly touted prospect, and went all 3 rounds with him and showed some good things. Did get the loss, but I see Chase Superman losing this fight. I think Fior,
yep,
I
I
think
agree.
I think Fior, is just too well rounded for him. Hooper's one of these guys who kind of got in early in the UFC, and it's hard to develop against the best of the best in the UFC. And I think Fiora's well-rounded game, to keep it standing, gets the win here.
Yeah, and there's something else I want to add to this. I agree. I think Theo's gonna win this fight. Oh, like you said, you really touched on everything that I was gonna say. Took his UFC debut on very short notice. Even though he lost that fight, showed some really good things. He scrapped, went all 3 rounds, was tough. Showed that he's got more than one aspect to his game as well. And I think by him taking that his UFC debut on short notice, I think he opened some eyes to Uncle Dana and the matchmakers. And I'm not gonna say this is gonna be an easy fight. I don't think it'll be a quote easy fight, but I think they're trying to throw him a bone here and say, look, man, you took the last fight on short notice, you did well, you got you got some skills, something we can work with. Trying to throw him a bone and get him on the right track in his UFC career. And I, I see him getting the job done in this one, man. I really do. Um, I really do. His UFC debut really said a lot to me. You know.
No doubt. All right, moving up the card, we have Ilya Latifi taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. Latifi coming off a decision win against oh boy, does Ezekiel choke? What's his name? Olenek. Since moving to heavyweight, he's kind of hit or miss. Rodrigo Nascimento coming off a split decision over Tanner Bozer. Before that, got caught against Chris Dawkins. Nascimento is a guy who, can strike and he has a very good ground game. But Latifi is a guy, once he gets a hold of you, you're not really going anywhere. And he's very high level wrestler, especially for that heavyweight division. Tough fight because Latifi is 40 years of age
Yeah.
and Minto is 30. Um, I think the smart pick would probably go Brazilian, but there's something telling me that Latifi is just gonna lay and pray this one out.
Yeah. Tough fight here. I think if I had to lean towards somebody, I'd go Nascimento. Would, but I see what you're saying. Um, I'm gonna go Nascimento by decision for now. Again, don't come at us because we can both change some more picks. But right now, I'm gonna go Nascimento by decision. Good change. We'll see.
No doubt. All right, next up we have Orion Kosuke, out of Team Alpha Male.
Yeah.
If you don't know him, he got the win over Blood
Uh,
decision victory his last fight. And
mm-hmm.
we got him taking on Gilbert Burns, not Gilbert Burns, Gilbert Urbina.
Damn.
Yeah,
Damn.
what the
Who
fuck?
they ain't doing them any favors, huh? Trying to get the
So
Ringo right back on track, man.
right. So Urbina was on the Ultimate Fighter season 29. He filled in for Trayshawn Gore and fought Brian Battle in the finale. And he ultimately got choked out. Hasn't fought since. This is his first fight back. I don't think they're doing him any favors with this one. I think Orion is a really good grappler.
Yeah.
Trains
Yeah,
at a
he's legit, man. Mhm.
Urbina having a layoff. It's not like a landslide, but I gotta go with the more active guy, the guy who's got a win in the UFC already, and I gotta go with
Yeah,
Orion.
yeah, definitely. Again, we don't do bets anymore, but this not betting. I'm just saying, if I had to pick a uh, uh, a fight that I was really confident in, this is one of them. I like Orion, his brother too, but that's another story for another day. Um, you know, both of the Kosi brothers, man, tough, durable, really good wrestlers. Come forward, they grind you out. You know what I'm saying? Don't give you any breaks. They're not the most flashy fighter or the most fancy fighter, but man, they always come to fight, bring the fight to you. Um, like you said, it's just taking on a guy that hadn't fought in a long time. I don't remember the last time he fought. It had to be over a year. Um, but yeah, I think Orion, you know, fight a guy first fight back in well over a year. Um, just gonna be more active, gonna push the pace on him, gonna grind him out. Either win a dominant decision either a dominant decision or a stoppage, be a ground and pound, something like that. That's fine. Orion Kosi.
No doubt, no doubt. All right, now we have the next feature fight. We have Carolina taking on Vanessa Demopoulos. I can never
Yeah,
pronounce Carolina's last name, so we just gonna.
Cachoeira, Cachoeira. Spell it for me again. Spell it for me.
It is definitely not Cachoeira, but that's a Brazilian name. But Carolina, the girl who fought, for a title against
Yeah, Sweet
JJ.
Caroline. Yeah, Sweet
Yeah,
Caroline. I know her.
Poland.
Yeah.
We're gonna edit that out. But I got Carolina getting the win over here. The Vanessa
Mhm.
is a girl that you know, coming into the UFC, she fought JJ Aldrich. Tough fight. She lost that. But she's on a 2 fight win streak. Her grit, her heart, she has a lot of good things, but some things she lacks technically. And I think Carolina is gonna kind of expose it in this fight. Carolina is on a win streak. She looked very good her last 2 fights, and she's looking to make it 3 in a row here, and I think she absolutely gets it. This is a lock for me. I got Carolina for sure winning this one.
Zachary, well, I like your pick, and that's who I'm gonna go with too. But it's women that are made. We don't do lots.
Hey, we don't bet anymore. I'm just saying I'm confident in this one.
Yeah, you right.
Maybe you thought it
Yeah,
was Cachoeira, like you said.
I don't know. I butcher her last name too. But we talking about the same girl. I know what we're talking about. But on a serious note, um, Carolina, man, if you look at her record, even her losses, dude, her losses are to nothing but the top tier fighters, man. And dude, she's done well as of late, and I think Carolina gets it done as well. You know, um, yeah, I think she gets it done on the feet and outstrike uh, Vanessa.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Way to stick with Uncle Zach on that one, man.
Oh no! I know I had that one. Then I just said I wouldn't lock it up. It's probably gonna make.
All right. This one you can definitely put as a lock as fight of the night. Two exciting strikers. We have Mashadi taking on Borisov.
Yeah,
Borisov,
man. Let me go with this one first. Man, I see a lot of people like I don't know. I like I'm gonna butcher his name. Bashadi.
you like him in
Who you
this one?
like? Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, what we putting on it, bro? Because I got Borisov for sure on this one.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
20
But
squats.
yeah, 20 squads. All right, cool. Bet. And you can
All right.
video it too.
All right.
Um, but I don't. And again, it's not a lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not a lot. But something's just telling me that Masadi's gonna get it done. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But go
So
ahead.
I'm
Go ahead.
with you on this one. This is a closer fight than, what the odds have it. My Shadi, he does have a very, very big power in his hands. But you look at his fights outside the UFC, it was versus not great competition. The win over Steve Garcia was great because Steve Garcia is winning. Rafa
Mhm.
Garcia, a decision loss to him, but I don't think he's fought a striker like Borshov. To put that in perspective, you have a guy like Mike Davis, a very good striker. You have a guy like Mark Diakese, very good striker. They're taking Borshov to the ground. That's just how they're beating him. UFC, his first UFC fight, body shot knockout. Same thing with his contender series fight, man. I think this is a fight where he's not gonna have to worry about the takedown as much, and we're gonna get to see how good of a striker Borshov is. And if I'm wrong, we'll really see how much power, Mashadi got.
Yeah, fight that could go either way. Regardless, it's gonna be a fun fight. Both guys bring it and be striking heavy matchup, so it'd be fun to watch.
Absolutely. All right, moving up the card, we have the first fight on the main card. We have Michael Johnson, a vet, taking on another vet, Diego Ferreira. Michael Johnson is on he beat Mark DeCasey the last fight. Fight before that, split decision with Jamie Malarkey. Fiera, I haven't seen him in action for a while. Hasn't fought since the end of 2021 against Gamrot. With that being said, guys beating that are losing to Michael Johnson are looking to get it to the ground and just can't, or they're trying to land one shot at a time with Michael Johnson, and that's just not how you beat him. Ferreira is kind of the opposite, throws a lot of shots, heavy on the grappling, and relentless with the grappling, honestly. I think Ferreira beats Michael Johnson decision on this one.
Wait, well, you think Ferreira beats Michael Johnson?
Yes, Ferreira, the favorite, beats Michael Johnson.
Man,
Damn, bro. How you think he gets it done then?
look, Michael Johnson, takedown stuffer, fast hand, baby. Hey,
So
man, it's close fight, but I was going with him on this. Michael Jackson, Michael Johnson, one of them.
so Michael Johnson does have, very heavy hands throughout the fight. He can knock you out round one, round three. So I think if he does, we've seen Ferrer get knocked out, but we also seen, Michael Johnson get out grappled by jiu-jitsu guys like Thiago Moises and get submitted. And I think Ferrer is very similar to that style. So, and he got that wrestling, man. Ferrer got that wrestling, man.
You can wrestle, huh?
I'm trying to tell you, bro. All right, moving up the card. If the fight we talked about last, Machete versus Borshov doesn't get fight of the night, it's gonna be because of this one. Andre Fialho taking on Joaquin Buckley. Buckley dropping down to 170. Finally, um, you know, this is a very close fight. Fialho is probably the more technical guy, but Buckley is super active, got the dog in him, and I got to go with the dog, man. I was big on Filau, but what I'm saying, he got out dogged his last fight, and it ain't no question what Buckley's bringing. So going with Buckley on that one.
This is a tough fight, man. I'm telling you, I was leaning towards Philly out, but I don't know, man.
Don't tell me I
I don't know.
persuaded you, man.
No, right now, I'm going with Philly out, but it could change. You know, gotta be the film study, man.
This is
But
what I'm saying. Buckley at 185 was his main losses was because he was getting rocked. I think on 170, he'll have a better chin. And his power is going to translate way more.
yeah, you think he finished him with a spinning back kick or?
Yeah, I think he does a cartwheel backflip into a drop kick and gets it done, man.
Hey, I hear he's been working on that in camp.
Yeah, I heard he learned from you in your Olympic trial days.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. That athletic, bro. I was just a wrestling coach. Just wrestling. And they asked for the coach, and
All
don't
right.
fuck.
Moving up the card, we got Emily Ducote taking on Lupita Gomez on short notice. Both these girls taking this fight on short notice.
I'm going with Gomez. Um, yeah, I'm going with Lapita.
Okay.
but
Lupita. All right,
yeah,
I'm gonna go Ducote, man.
there's another tough fight in it
Yeah, it is.
because like Dakota can strike. She got some good wrestling as well. Um, right now, I'm leaning towards Medina.
For me, it's like you look at it two different ways, right? You look at the more active girl she's fought not too long ago versus Cynthia Calvillo, maybe like 2, 3 weeks ago. And that's something you see it all the time on the Ultimate Fighter. These guys fight every week and they get better and better and better. Or you look at the more well-rounded girl in Dakota. But Dakota's been in the UFC a little bit less longer, but has still been fighting good competition in Bellator. I'm gonna go with Dakota, like I said, but this is a fight you probably stay away from.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, co-main event action. These fights really don't get easier to pick. Edmund Shabazian taking on Anthony Hernandez. This is an interesting dynamic for me because Shabazian started off so damn hot in the UFC and then losing streak, and now he got his confidence back. But there's one thing that he's always kind of went downhill was his cardio in fights. And you're fighting a guy in Anthony Hernandez who has probably one of the better gas tanks, is a nonstop wrestler, doesn't get the takedown, he's gonna keep shooting. So I got Anthony Hernandez in this, but if this is a coming out party for Edmund Shabazian, it ain't gonna surprise me. He made a lot of changes to his training, and he's training with dogs on the daily with Strickland, Curtis, and all them guys. So we'll see.
Yeah, man. So who you going with?
I got Anthony Hernandez.
Yeah, me too. Thank God. Okay, we
Come on, man.
okay.
You ain't counting
Yeah.
Shabazian out like that, huh?
No. I'm saying thank God because we finally agree on one. You
Oh,
know,
shit, we
it's
agreed
making
on
our
at least
minutes.
more than half.
Yeah. But no. I'm definitely not counting Sebastian out because I'm telling you right now. Before I looked at their, I'll be honest with you. Now, again, when we do these breakdowns, we just look at their records and all that good stuff. Before I looked at their last five, I was going with Sebastian. But when I looked at it a little bit closer, I'm like, man, I got to lean towards Hernandez. Trust me, I'm not the only reason I said thank God is because I didn't think we were gonna pick this one the same because I was going back and forth on it.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
see now.
yeah. Okay.
All right, now main event action. I'm gonna let you go first if you don't mind, bro.
Yeah. And
Angela Hill. Angela
no,
Hill. You want me to go first? I go first, bro. If you want.
I'm gonna go first
All right. You want to flip a coin?
because I like energy striking, man. I do.
Who you got?
God.
Fuck all that, man. Who you got? I'm just gonna say my pick then, bro. I got Angela Hill, bro. It's clear cut, obvious for me. Angela Hill.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Oh yeah. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? Because I was going back and forth on this one. I swear I was. I picked against her last fight. She proved me wrong. I'm going with Angie Hill. Her striking. She's gonna be able to stop those takedowns. She's gonna be able to stop the takedowns and out strike. If listen, if, it's all gonna boil down to this. Can we agree? Can we agree on what? On no matter who wins. If Angela Hill keeps it on her feet, she'll win. If Dern gets to the ground, she'll win.
Of course. Of course. Look,
Yeah.
if it's on the ground for like 1 minute, Angela Hill probably getting subbed.
Yeah.
Will it get to the fight for 1 minute? I don't think so, man. We've seen
And
this with Kron Gracie, bro. If you have jujitsu and no wrestling, it's a very frustrating thing to watch. And we've seen that with her last fight, man. Until she makes those improvements, I'm gonna keep picking against her when she gets to this level, like an Angela Hill and dude, to put this in perspective, Amanda Lemos, right? Powerhouse, just beat
yeah.
Mariana Rodriguez.
Mhm.
Power Angela Hill had a goddamn split decision with her. You know what I'm saying? So that shows you how much of an athlete she is. I don't think she's ready for
Yeah.
that.
And you know what? This woman's in I picked to get that into her last fight. And I've been watching Angie for a while. I really have. It killed me to pick against her last fight.
You never
And she
do it,
proved
bro.
me
I tried to
wrong.
tell you, man. I tried to tell you.
And, and, and she proved me wrong. And you proved me wrong as well. And I did say, I said, next fight, no matter who she fights, I'm going to pick her. Didn't I say that?
You did, man. And hey,
So,
man of your word, I'll
you
give
know
you that.
what? I got to go with Angela Hill. Gotta go with it.
Good man, good man. All right. We're gonna uh we're gonna switch some things up and switch it to boxing. But before we get to the boxing card, who are you most excited to see fight on this UFC fight night?
Oh. Mm,
I tell you mine.
oh.
Uh Joaquin Buckley at 170. I'm interested to see what that looks like.
Yeah. So are you talking about one fighter or one fight?
One fighter,
Like, yeah, it could be Joaquin Buckley. Um, yeah. Joaquin Buckley, he always brings it. And Angela Hill too. Angela Hill, somebody I'm excited to see.
for
Just
sure.
because, we have if she can win this fight, this would be what, two or three in a row for her?
Two. Yeah, two.
And I think that she can start making a little bit of hay.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
not I'm not gonna say she's gonna run to the top or whatever, but look, she's lost some fights that I think she should have won, but I think she's starting to find her footing a little bit, man.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. And she's been on a lot of split decisions that could have went her way that went the other way. So I think she can get serious momentum with this fight. And she's not getting any younger, so I think the time is now for her. Another person I'm really excited, like I'm really intrigued to see like what he does is Shabazian, man, because he had his back against the wall. They kind of gave him a fight that it was winnable, and now you're fighting the dog in Hernandez, and like we're really about to see what you made of, man, because like this is a big fight, co-main event, like this is very big for him in his career. So
Yeah,
we'll see what he does.
I agree. Like you said, that's against the wall. He got to fight out that corner. So we gonna see what he's made of.
And then, of course, our girl Victoria Leonardo, we're excited to see her, repping Louisiana. Uh, we'll be rooting for her. Moving to boxing, we got the Devin Haney versus Lomachenko card. Before we get to the main event, we got Emiliano Vargas. We seen his brother fight on the last card. Top Rank is big on these guys, three brothers. And he's probably fighting a fight to showcase his skills. We have Nico Ali Walsh fighting. He's fighting a guy 13-9, so another showcase fight. Before we get into the next fight, what's your thoughts on Nico Ali Walsh? Like, do you see him actually like making a run for a world title, or do you see them just
No,
using the name?
no,
Okay.
no.
Do you
And
see them just
and
using the name to be on the undercard?
what I tell you at the gym, bro, what I tell you at the gym, that's Ali's grandbaby, man.
Yeah.
That's not his grand. I call him his grandbaby. That's not his grandson. That's his grandbaby. That's what I call
Okay.
him. But yeah, on a serious note, man. Look, Ali Walsh has gotten better. He has gotten better in his last fight. He has. He's showing the proof. But man, can I just be honest?
Of course.
This man ain't no boxer.
Man, I
Look,
think he's putting in
look.
the work, bro. He's doing the right things.
No,
if you
no, that's what I'm saying. He's getting better.
yes.
But I hate to write him off. I'm sure he's a good guy. You know, look, he's gonna go win this fight. He'll win this fight. But can he get to that contender level? I don't see it. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But
So like here's my thing, bro. What's that Cesar Chavez Jr., bro? Didn't he win a world title?
did he? Nah, he's terrible. But did he win
He
one?
won a world title. You know what I'm saying? And you got the backing of ESPN Top Rank. You don't think they're gonna be able to get him a world title and just feed him the right opponents and get there?
And he got his paw in spirit. You know what I'm saying? He
You
got
know what I'm
Paul with
saying? You don't think they could do that with him?
him.
Honestly.
He's getting better, so maybe so. But maybe so. But can we both agree that he's still a long way away from that?
Man, to me, he's a 8-0 fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's exactly what his record is. You know,
What you mean?
he's a 8-0 fighter. You know, he has 8 professional fighters. He's fight 8 professional wins. He's beaten who he's supposed to. So I don't see him more than an 8-0 fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just see him doing what he's
He,
supposed to do right now.
bro, but they had now this is a while back, but they had one fight, that boy he lost. And they gave it to him. I forget what fight it was, man. Then he rematched that guy. See, they had a rematch and he got him out of there. But the first time they fought, I forgot who it was, man. I had to go look at his box rec, and I'm on my phone right now, so I don't have a way to go look it up. But
So if you,
anyway,
I'm looking at his record right now, bro. First fight, beat a guy 4-1. His first fight. Second fight, beat a guy 1-0. Third fight, beat a guy 6-0. You know, his fourth fight, that was a 1-1 guy. All right, that one's But next fight, 7-1 guy beat him. 7-2 guy beat him. 5-2 guy beat him. 9-2 guy beat him. Like it's not like he's fighting 0-20 guys every single fight.
oh
You know,
yeah, and like I said, did not say he is getting better.
he
Did
is,
not say
but like
that.
you gotta respect that record, bro. Jake
Yeah,
Paul,
yeah, no, no,
next.
no. Yeah, man. Hey, Ali versus Paul, man. Hey, let's do it, bro.
He needed a little bit bigger of a name, but yeah, I see where you're going. Um, so we probably looking at Nico Walsh getting another dub on this one.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with Amari Jones?
no.
Okay, let me check his record right quick. He's
At
8-0,
least it don't ring a bell.
21 years old, 8-0, another top ranked prospect. They're trying to get up there. So keep your eyes on him. He has a lot of finishes on his record real fast. Next up on the card, who do we have? Oscar Valdez taking on Adam Lopez. I want to say this is Valdez's first fight since he dropped a loss to Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah,
He's fighting
go
Adam
ahead.
Lopez. Lopez is 16-4, so this kind of tells you, this is a bounce back fight for Valdez.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Oscar Valdez. Is he a good fighter?
He aight, man. He aight. He
He's
came
straight.
up short
He's
versus
straight.
my boy
Yeah, yeah,
versus
he's straight.
Shakur, but you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying. But yeah, Valdez. If
Uh,
Shakur ain't in the picture, he has the titles. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. All bullshit aside, that's a joke. But that's a joke. I'm Carlos aside.
Yeah,
But yeah, man. But yeah, Oscar Valdez. Look, and I'm pretty sure he's fighting who? Adam Lopez.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure. I think he. I think he fought on Showbox not that long ago. I say not that long ago, maybe a year, a couple of years ago. If it's maybe not, but I think I know. I think I am familiar with his opponent. But with that being said, look, it still is a fight that they're giving Valdez to get back on track. He's not fighting a complete bum, but he's fighting a guy he should go some rounds with and probably should get out of there and get back on track. Oscar Valdez, a very fun fighter. Like you said, if it wouldn't be for Shakir Stevenson, he probably would have all the belts right now. And and look, Valdez, tough Mexican warrior. If you're not familiar with Oscar Valdez, get familiar with him. Very fun fighter to watch. Very good fighter.
yes, sir. So next up, we have a WBO World Superfly title on the line. We have Nakatani taking on Andrew Maloney. We've seen the other Maloney fight this past week.
See, I told you about the brothers, man. See, I
So,
told you.
24-0 versus 25-2, man. Nakatani is a guy I'm familiar with, but I have never seen him fight. I just heard a lot of good things about him. Heard
Yeah, same here.
Maloney, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't even familiar with the other brother that fought. So, these are two guys that I've never watched fight, but been hearing about. 24-0 versus 25-2 for a vacant title as a co-main
That's a
event.
good fight.
Not a
that's a
bad
good
fight.
fight, man.
Not a bad
Yeah,
fight. And it's a good platform to get to know these guys.
hell yeah. And I want to say this before we move on. I'm not gonna say this card has a bunch of bangers on the undercard, but I'm very pleased to see that you have Ali Wall. You know, it's a name that people get familiar with. You have Andrew Malarkey in the co-main. You have Oscar Valdez before the co-main. Everybody knows Oscar Valdez, former world champion. You know, so look, there's fights that they're not in quote tough fights, but at least this card they're giving you guys that they're not giving you guys that you never heard of. So I got to give credit to Bob Harum and the Top Rank crew to put it on together, to put together a decent undercard, man. I mean, look, the undercards don't jump off the page at you, but it's good enough to be like, hey, man, a lot of boxing fights, people just want to tune in to strictly just the main event. But this is a card where I'd be intrigued to watch some other fights, man. You know,
Absolutely. I mean, I
so,
watched the
props to
most
them.
of the ESPN card last week, and it's like every single fight they had a storyline behind it. You had a guy that you're familiar with. In the past, we're watching fights that, on the undercard, we don't know who the hell these guys are or what it is. It's
Yeah,
just a
exactly.
promoter
You're
trying
like,
to
who the
promote
hell is
a
this guy?
position or the hometown guy, you know what I mean? Now we have, Emiliano Vargas, you know what I'm saying? We know his name. We got a prospect like Amar Jones, Ali Wash, Valdez, Nakatani versus Maloney. Like they're taking a page out of the UFC book finally and not
Yeah,
just trying to promote
yeah.
one fight. All these guys
Thank
got the
God.
story and all these guys are promotable. So good to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Props to Bob Harum.
Yeah. Shout out to that boy Bob, man. So
Yeah,
now we got main event action, man. A very highly anticipated fight that, the 135 division, the ball's all in this fight. Like the whoever wins, you know what I'm saying, kind of dictates this division. We have Haney taking on Vasily Lomachenko. I gotta go with my boy Harley on this. He a boxing head for real, for real. So let's see what his thoughts about this.
yeah, man. Diane, thank you for the floor. Okay, guys.
All good, man,
With
all
that
good.
being said, we got a big main event right here. Loma versus Haney. Okay, two very good fighters to watch. Two guys, like you said, you got a lot riding and on the division in this fight. With these two guys squaring off. Oh, in this fight, man, I'm gonna go with. Excuse me. I'm gonna go with Vasily Lomachenko by decision. I think he's a little more uh, technical, and I think he just uh, his angles, his footwork is gonna be the biggest key in this fight. His footwork's a little better. Now listen, I'm not riding off Devin Haney, but like I said, I'm gonna go uh with Lomachenko to work his angles, to constantly get around, never never stay still, cut the ring off, and just do his thing. But if Devin Haney wants a chance in this fight, the two biggest things for Devin Haney that he's gonna have to do is constantly work, get behind the jab, which is the most important punch in boxing for anybody, but especially him in a fight like this. Get a real legitimate jab, get behind the jab, and constantly go down to the body. The reason I say go down to the body is like you can attest to this. When you go down to the body, Lomachenko is going to be constantly wanting to move around, constantly use that footwork, be in and out, you know, working his ankle. The way you slow a guy down that's constantly moving his feet, go down to the body, put water in the basin. Yeah, it might not show a lot in the beginning of the fight, but a marathon, not a sprint. 12-round fight for a world title. Eventually, if you go down to the body enough, you're gonna slow a guy down. Might not stop, but you're gonna slow him down. You're gonna start getting a little heavy, and you can start to wear on him a little bit. So, two biggest things for Haney is to be able to cut the ring off because I think it's gonna be the biggest key for him. The bigger key for him to cut the ring off Both guys box, but I think Oloma is going to be moving around a little even more. So cut the ring off, use that jab, and go down to the body as much as you can. If you can do that, they'll have a chance. But if you just head hunting against Lomachenko, it's gonna be a long night. I feel like Lomachenko. I don't want to say it's gonna outclass Haney because Haney's legit, but Haney will get the I mean, I'm sorry, Lomachenko will get the nod. But like I said, work your jab, go down the body, and cut the ring off. If he can do those three things, you have a chance. But I gotta go with Marcelo Lomachenko. Footwork's a little more crisp, and I think he'll win a decision in this fight.
Yeah, in this fight, we got two of my favorite fighters going against each other, man. Lomachenko, my boxing coach had me mimic his style, had me study him before I even like people really know who Lomachenko was. And then, we got Haney, you know what I'm saying? Like my strength and conditioning coach put me on the Haney when he was like 15, 16, fighting in Mexico. So two guys I'm super familiar with, especially their
Same here.
styles. Haney, you know what I'm saying? What gets him the fight most of the time is his jab and his ability to just dictate the fight with his jab to where he's touching you, not getting touched, touching you, not getting touched, and then before you know he's walking you down with just a jab and his feints and sneaking that right hand as well. So Haney is a guy who will outbox you, and Lomachenko is a guy if you're looking to show a
Who will
young
also
kid
outbox
on how
you.
to box, Lomachenko is the purest form of boxing you can get at a technical level. He throws multiple punches, has his hands up, technician. The thing with this man is Loma still Lomachenko, from 2, 3, 4 years ago. He's
Yeah,
35 now.
he's been through a
He's
lot.
slowed down. Is the fights that he had in the past wearing on him? And how will Haney do with a guy who doesn't mind throwing him multiple punches to get on the inside? We've seen time and time again when Haney wins, these guys are staying on the outside, and when they have success, it's too late. It's round 10, 11, or 12. And they just, what they did at the later rounds, they should have did at the beginning of the fight. I think if I'm Lomachenko, I'm throwing multiple punches compared to, Haney's multiple jabs. Very tough fight for me to pick. As much as I don't want to pick a winner, because I like these guys so much. Haney's gonna have the size advantage, but I think Lomachenko throwing multiple combinations is gonna win him the fight. If I had to say anything, this fight is definitely going the distance. I don't see any guy
Oh
getting
yeah, 100%.
defense too much on point, and they're not known for power punching. But I gotta go Lomachenko, probably like split decision in a super close fight.
Can Loma get past that jab? That's gonna be the biggest.
Yeah,
biggest.
he's gotta not
And
mind taking a one or two to get in just to get his rhythm going.
and don't get me wrong, Devin knows this. You know, first of all, the jab is the most important punch in boxing for anybody. But Devin used that jab as anybody. Or really more
Absolutely.
than anybody. But this fight right here, he's got to use that jab constantly, bro. Work that jab, work behind the stick, and don't let Lomachenko get inside. You know.
And like I said before, 135 is kind of like, it's dictated by this fight. This is for all the belts. And, Haney's been very vocal about moving to 140. And, I think if Haney wins, he goes to 140 and looks to do the same and get undisputed there. And I think if Lomachenko wins, he stays at 35. And I think you have a super fight with Shakur Stevenson because both guys are with ESPN. Shakur's at 35 now. It would only make sense. So, really big fight. The only thing that I would hate to see is them running back immediately. I want to see the division keep going. There's more fights to make than just Loma and
Yeah.
Haney. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
hopefully, we see the division move on. We talked about it earlier in the podcast too. We do have another boxing card on DAZN. We have Katie Taylor taking on Chantel Cameron. The both girls are undefeated. This is for all the belts at super lightweight. in Dublin in Katie Taylor's hometown. So she's 36. I mean, I don't know how long she's gonna keep on boxing for, but I think they're really trying to push her name and push women's boxing right now. So really excited to see Katie Taylor showcase her skills. To me, she's like the woman version of Lomachenko, very technical.
Yeah, she's legit.
Is this a fight you're gonna be tuning into?
If I have time, yeah. If I have time, yeah. I don't know, but yeah, I'm interested to see it. If it's what you're trying to ask, if I'm interested to see it, yeah, I am interested to see it.
No doubt, no doubt. I think this is a fight that's gonna set up the Serrano rematch. I think she's probably gonna be calling her name after this fight. So we'll see.
I didn't get to see that Toronto fight. I know it was controversy and really a good fight. Um, dude, I know this is random, but do you know if the fight's on YouTube?
Yo, yeah, definitely. I mean, all the
Yeah,
all them fights, you find them if you look hard.
yeah, I need to go watch it.
So, we have Saturday, at 3 o'clock. Um, we're gonna have the Katie Taylor fight. At 4 o'clock, the UFC fight start, and then at 9 is the ESPN top rank card. On Friday, they will have some bare knuckle fights.
Bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle, boy. We got Houston Alexander. He's fighting for the 200-pound title against Jeremy Smith. If you're not familiar with Houston Alexander, man, the dude was like a underground legend back in the day in the UFC, just knocking guys out his first two fights. He's 51 years of age, still throwing down. Co-main event, we got Cochran. He was on the Ultimate Fighter, fought in a bunch of other big regional shows. And yeah, most of these fights are just guys from Nebraska fighting opponents, showcase fights. So, you know what I'm saying? We got BKFC Friday, two boxing cards Saturday with Katie Taylor and Haney versus Loma, and then we got Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill, Saturday as well. So action packed. Anything else you got to cover, man?
Nah, man, like they said, they full weekend of fights, especially Saturday, full Saturday fights with two boxing cards and a UFC card as well. So look, man, tune into those fights. Um, we pretty much covered everything, but
One thing
tune
I
in.
got left is to announce a couple fights that they did announce like in the last 2 or 3 days for the UFC. One that
Yeah,
I know
give it
that
to
you're
them.
gonna like is Victor Petrino, fought pretty recently, taking
Uh
on
huh.
Marcin Prashnow at light heavyweight. That's a big
Yeah.
fight. They're gonna be scrapping July 8th. We have CJ Vigora taking on Vinicius Salvador at flyweight. That's a real fun fight. We have Makhmed Muradov taking on Brian Barberina at middleweight. We have Andre Muniz taking on Paul Craig at middleweight. Paul Craig dropping the middleweight.
Yeah, Paul Craig gotta do more than just try to grapple.
Yep, yep. So those are the fights announced, man. Thursday or Friday we'll drop a more in-depth covering the UFC Fight Night card and giving our final predictions. But all we ask is that you like, comment, subscribe, anything you got for the viewers before we head out.
Nah, man, like I said, we covered it all. Full weekend of fights, full Saturday of fights. Tune into the fights. Um, leave your comments below on the video, and look, we'll be back later on in the week to give you guys our full predictions and breakdowns for everything you need to know for this weekend's fight.
No doubt. Peace.